Oh, that's a good idea.
Hey everybody! So today's quick tip is going to be a little shopping hack. And this is kind of something that you want to keep in mind for projects down the road. Let's say you're making a blanket or a sweater or a set of things and you're going to buy a whole lot of yarn in order to complete this project. Typically, if you're following a pattern, it'll tell you roughly how much yarn you need. So let's say you end up needing 6 skeins that are 50 grams each, or you need 3 skeins that are 150 grams each, but you can't find that exact yarn, and so you substitute it, and then the balls have different grams. Anyway, let's say you have the potential of running out of yarn almost at the end of a project, or even worse, halfway through a project. So you have to go back to the store or you have to order more. This is a handy little way to avoid having problems when you get to the store and not having to bring the entire project with you. So, I have here in my hands a rather large ball of a Red Heart Comfort. This is a standard ball of yarn, and in particular, it has no dye lot associated with it. Now, a dye lot means that typically a company who creates yarn, they trademark the colors or the particular shade of the color, and they have a code for it, and usually it's on the ball of yarn somewhere. Now, this one does have codes, so presumably if you were ordering online, you would be able to order using one of these codes. But if you're just shopping in the store, you might go back to the store and think, oh yeah, I need more of that comfort yarn. What was the name of it? It didn't have a name. You get there and you might be presented with 3 or 4 shades of a green, and in the light of the store, any one of them could be right. And if you're anything like me, you might end up buying 1 or 2 balls of the wrong shade. So this is what I like to do. Before I even start the project, I cut off a piece of the yarn, so just a small piece, not a whole lot, and I tape it to the label. This way, if I take my label off or I actually run through an entire ball of yarn, I hang on to that label until the entire project's done. And if I run out of yarn, I can just take the whole label, stuff it in my purse, and when I get to the store, I even have a piece of the actual yarn in the right color that I can compare to the other balls of yarn on display there, and I'll know for a fact that I'm getting the right color. Other balls of yarn occasionally have a name. So here's one. This one's called Tawny. And if you're going to pick up the same yarn with the same name, that sometimes helps you narrow it down, because most yarn manufacturers will give individual names to their yarn. So in this case, you could probably just take the label with you. You don't have to bring the whole ball of yarn or a piece of yarn. But it doesn't hurt to have a little piece of that yarn taped onto it just in case. And if you keep a project journal, this is something really neat that you can put into it. A project journal is something like a scrapbook of sorts, and I'll show you mine down the road. But this is something that would go into your project journal. You would write up the project, the pattern, maybe where you got the pattern, maybe the inspiration behind it, and for future reference, or even to get yarn to fix it if there's a problem down the road, you can keep one of the labels and keep a scrap of the yarn, or the yarns, so you know what you used and what colors were there. Yeah, so that is just a quick and hopefully helpful little tactic for purchasing yarn down the road if you happen to run out while you're in the middle of a project. That's it for today. Thanks everybody for watching, and please remember to tune in frequently to see what else we've come up with here at the Jayda InStitches show. It might be a quick tip, it might be a tutorial, it might be something completely different. We don't know either. We will see you again very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!
Thank you. Next.